I'm going to show you how to install your high-powered LED bulbs using my low beam and high beam adapters. Now, this is a ProMaster passenger headlight. It's been pre-uninstalled. You're going to need a non-scratch surface. I'm using a foam piece right here. And my recommendation is to work on the installation upside down. Now that the headlight is upside down, these are the two entryways for the low beam and the high beam. You know it's the low beam because the low beam is on the outer side of the headlight. Before you begin, it is worth noting that the collar on these H7 LED bulbs swivels to allow you to rotate the LED bulb in the proper orientation. For our ProMaster vans, this is going to want to be vertical inside of the headlight housing. For the installation, you'll need to remove this collar from the bulb. Specifically for the low beam, note that I have marked right here on the collar with a Sharpie to indicate where the tab is. This will be very important later down the line. We will set aside this H7 flange for now. To open these, you have to twist this off. Try to apply more pressure if it doesn't dislodge. Let's start with the low beam installation. You'll need to flex this out of the way and pull it out. So this is the stock wire harness. Remove the stock halogen bulb. And for now you can tuck away the stock wire harness. This is the adapter for the low beam H7 LED bulb. You'll notice on the bottom there are two spring arms that will push down on the bulb and keep it secure in place. These other features on the sides mate properly with the surrounding area in the headlight. Use your T15 driver to remove the screw. Careful not to let it fall into the headlight. If it does, it's no problem. You can just flip the headlight upside down and fish it out. This tab here actually extends into this hole in the headlight, and it is attached to a cover that covers the front tip of the light bulb for a proper low beam pattern. You're going to want to be careful as you handle this so it doesn't fall into the headlight. Again, if it falls into the headlight, it's not a problem. Just flip it over and you can fish it out. Grab the tab, and with your hand inside of this hole, you can secure it in place like that while it's pulled outward toward you. This tab will go inside of this pocket right here. That will hold it in place. Notice how I'm using my finger to hold it in place so it's suspended. As you're holding the bracket in place with your finger, the bracket is holding the metal tab. Next, you'll take the H7 flange that you removed from your H7 bulb. Note the orientation of your marking with your Sharpie to ensure it's pointed downwards. Notice that the long side will be facing you for the installation. I'm going to slip this flange behind the adapter while I'm holding it. So it goes behind and into the hole, and now you can drop it into place. The H7 flange here on the side, it should be flush with the headlight housing, the shiny part. To ensure that it is flush, you're going to insert your finger into the flange hole and rotate it until your Sharpie marking is 6 o'clock pointed towards this tab. You will know it's successfully aligned when the flange is sitting flush on the housing surface. Take your T15 driver and the previously removed screw and you will insert it back into the tab hole. As it tightens, you will feel a little bit of tension as the springs become loaded in the adapter. There will still be a gap here, but the flange is loaded. Now the H7 flange is fully secured. Take your H7 bulb and note the orientation of the LED. Again, it wants to be vertical within your housing. The indicator to know that it's vertical is this wire here on this particular light bulb. You're gonna need to ensure that the wire is at the bottom or the top to ensure that it's installed vertically. Insert the H7 bulb into the H7 flange that you just installed. Twist it a little bit so that it detents inside, and with some pressure you can twist it so that it locks in. And now you can rotate it to make sure that the LED is vertically aligned inside of your headlight. Find the polarity, so you have positive and negative. The negative prong is going to insert in the slot right here, closest to the flex arm that you used to remove it. Reinsert the wiring harness and H7 plug back into the headlight. Try to find a secure location to tuck it away. And that's it for the low beam. The high beam bulb is much simpler. It also has a stock wiring harness with a flex arm that you will pinch to remove it. Remove your stock H7 bulb. Take your high-powered H7 LED bulb. Remove the flange, and this tab will go into the bottom cavity right here. You're going to orient the flange so that the bigger side is facing you. Remove the screw that secured your stock wiring harness. Take your high beam adapter, and this cutout at the top is going to be facing you. Slot it in. Reinstall the T15 screw, and the H7 flange will now be secure. In the same manner that you installed the other H7 bulb, you're going to want to install it so that it is vertical inside of the headlight housing. Insert it into the flange, find the insertion point, there you go, and push to seat it. And for this, we're going to want the wire to come out the bottom right at 6 o'clock or 12 o'clock. Fish out your stock wiring harness, and again, find the polarity on the H7 bulb wire. The negative prong is going to insert closest to the tab that you used to remove it. Tuck the harness and cables inside of the headlight. Now that you have both the low beam and the high beam bulbs installed, cap it off. And now the headlight is ready to be reinstalled into your Dodge ProMaster.